Alright, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to open up file 4-6 and we're going to save it as flowers. So I have already done that at this point. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to get our rectangle frame tool. So this guy right here, and we're going to draw a rectangular frame right here in the middle of, oopsie. First you're going to select a little background layer right here. And then you're going to do that. So we're going to draw our frame right here. And you'll see that it is in this orange color, which is the color of that background layer. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to place an image into this graphics frame holder. So up until this point, we've not placed images inside of these graphics frame holders. We've just kind of placed them there as a placeholder, really. So we're going to go up to File on the menu bar and go down to Place. And then you're going to look through your Chapter 4 files, and you're going to find windmillsghost.psd. So it should be at the bottom if yours is in alphabetical order. Alright, so this is kind of what it should look like right there, and we are going to hide that. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to select the images layer right here, and we're going to go up to File and Place. And this is another way to place a graphic, so we're going to scroll down and go to windmillscolor.psd and press Open. Now, you'll see that my mouse has this loaded image on it. So all we're going to do is we're going to come up here to the F in flowers, and we're going to click that. And so that's where our image is going to be at. Alright, so we're going to go and we're going to turn off our images, the visibility to our images layer, and we're going to click on background and turn our visibility to it back on. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to get our selection tool, and we're going to click the Windmills Ghost graphic. Okay, so I've just clicked that graphic. You can see it's selected. And I'm going to make sure on my transform panel that the top left reference point is selected, which it is. I'm going to get my direct selection tool, which is the quick key A, and I'm going to position my tool over the graphic, and then I'm going to click on that graphic. So as you can see, this image is a lot bigger than what my frame is. Okay. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to press the hand icon over this windmill until we get a black little arrow, and then you will be able to see the rest of your image. And we're just going to center this one windmill right here in the middle, okay? Alright, so the graphic moves within the frame, but the frame itself does not move. Note that the blue bounding box, now visible, is bounding around the graphic within the frame. So you can see this is the blue bounding box that it's talking about right there. Alright, so we're going to get our selection tool, and then we're going to click on the graphic. Okay, so just one other thing to notice. Right here in my transform panel, whenever I use my selection tool, my transform panel just says X and Y. When I use my direct selection tool and click, it goes to X plus and Y plus. That plus means that you have the graphic selected, not the frame selected. Okay, so I'm going to select it, and I want to make sure my frame is what's selected. Now I'm going to click and drag the top left selection handle of the graphics frame, so the placeholder frame, and I want to make it as big as the top part of the top left corner of my document. I'm going to click and drag the bottom right corner all the way down to the bottom right hand corner of my document. Alright, so I'm going to get the direct selection tool, and I'm going to click my graphic, so I have X plus and Y plus, and I just want to put 0 and 0 in both of those right there. Okay, and you'll see that my image moves right over that. Alright, so we have that done. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to drag the background layer below the text layer on the layers panel. So we're going to put background all the way down here to the background. Alright, so that puts that image behind our text and behind our images. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to target the images layer. We're going to turn him on. And so we have this picture of all these other windmills. And so we're going to be messing with this right here. So we're going to press A to get our direct selection tool if you don't already have it, or you can just click on it. And then we're going to click on the Windmills Color graphic. So we're going to click on him. Alright. Verify that the in the transform panel, excuse the bell, that the link is linked. So we do have our link right here. So we want to constrain proportions for width and height. And so that's the little link icon. So it was off, and that's what it looks like when it's off. When we click it, it's turned on. That means the proportions of this image aren't really going to change based off of how I drag and click it. It's still going to look the right way. Alright, so I'm going to type 50 in the scale X, dialog box. Alright, so I'm going to type 50 in the scale X dialog box, so it just is like a square with an arrow pointing to the right. If you hover over it, it says scale X percentage. So I'm going to type 50 in right there, and then I'm going to press return. So, or like enter on your keyboard. So that image will become a lot smaller. Alright, so I'm gonna press V to activate my selection tool. And then I'm going to click the Windmills graphic and layout. So I'm going to click on that graphic. So you see how big my graphic actually is? Okay, so that graphic's actually really super large. Alright, so next I'm going to go to Object on the menu bar and then go to Fitting. So Object and then down to Fitting, and you want to select Fit Frame to Content. So I'm going to go to Fit Frame to Content. Alright. Alright, so the next step we're going to do is we're going to click the top left reference point on our transform panel. So that is already selected, so I'm good. With the frame still selected, I'm going to type 4.5 in the X location. I'm going to type 4.5 in the X location, and then type 3 in the Y location, and type 3.32 in the width. And I'm going to type 2.125. in the height box, and then I'm going to press return. Okay, so this should place your little box right here. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my direct selection tool by pressing A, and I'm going to click on the graphic. Alright, and we should be still, we just want to make sure that these do still say 50%. They are right down here as well for you. Okay, so now we're going to go to Object, Fitting, and Fit Content Proportionally. Object, Fitting, and Fit Content Proportionally. So if I have made a frame a certain size for a specific reason, I like to do this option rather than any of these other ones, is to fit content proportionally, just because it's going to fit proportionally inside the frame without taking up any extra space or distorting the image. So we're going to do that, so you see it minimizes our frame a little bit. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to deselect. So I'm going to just click in my pasteboard. You're going to press V, and you're going to click on the graphic. Alright, so now we're going to go to Object on the menu bar, Fitting, and Fit Frame to Content. Frame to Content. And what this is going to do is it's going to move it a little bit. Okay, so the next thing we're doing is we're going to click off of that. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure we have our selection tool, which I do have. And we're going to click on the graphic. And then we're going to click the Wrap Around Bounding Box on the Text Wrap panel. And we've got to get our Text Wrap panel. So I'm going to go up here to Window. And I'm going to find it. Alright, so to get your Text Wrap panel, you're going to go up here to Window on your menu bar. And you're going to go down to Text Wrap. That's going to open up this panel. I think it should be a default panel, but it's not. So apparently they win because they made the software. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to push the Wraparound Bounding Box icon. And so that's the one that looks like this one. So it's the second one. We have our image selected. We're going to click on that one. And you see when I selected that, okay, all of my text, right now my graphic is over my text. Now, my text works around it. Alright? So we're going to verify that the Make All Settings the Same button is clicked, which is this one right here. And we're going to do 0.125 in the top offset text box. So top offset, we're going to type 0.125. And then we're going to press return. Okay? So that gives it just a little bit extra room on all sides. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to deselect all. So I'm going to select off over here, or you can go to Edit, deselect all. And then we're going to push Command D. So Command D. And what this opens up is our file place. So you can do the same thing by going up to File Place, but Command D opens it up straight up. And then we can go to Windmills Silhouette. I'm going to scroll down, click Windmills Silhouette, and say OK. And we're going to click the loaded graphics icon on the F in the word flowers. So we'll go up here on the F in word flowers and click right there. Okay, so now we have this giant windmill. Alright. The next thing that we are going to do is we are going to click the Wrap Around Shape button. So that's this one right here. Wrap Around Object Shape button. Okay, you can see things go a little bit crazy. And then we're going to click the Type List arrow. So the Type List arrow, and we're going to go to Photoshop Path. Okay, so we're making sure that it's going around Path, and then we're going to know that Path 1 is automatically selected. So in this top offset, we're going to type 0.14 and press Return. Alright, so it should look like, I'm going to bring over what it should look like. It's supposed to look similar to this, so I can move mine around to where it'll look closer to that. Which it does look pretty similar to that. Okay, so we're not looking for exact, we're looking to pretty similar, okay? Alright, so now we're going to deselect all, and then we're going to click the graphic and make sure we have our selection tool, which I have my selection tool. Then we're going to click the graphic to verify that the frame, not the graphic. So we're going to click on the graphic. Okay? To verify that the frame, not the graphic within the frame, is selected. So we have the frame selected, not the individual graphic. Okay? Now we're going to type, we're going to open up our transform panel, and we're going to type negative 1.25 in our X, so negative 1.25, and 3.8 MRY. MRY, and we're going to press Return. Okay. So we're supposed to be moving him over here to the left. So I didn't type in something correctly, which I'm about to do. Go back and double check that. So it should look over here on the side like that. So I'm going to open that back up. And whenever I look at it now, it says YX. So I had the, let me make sure I fix all my options. Okay, so I just undid the last step that I did because I messed it up. Alright, so we're going to go to Transform. I'm going to get my selection tool, click off of it, click on the frame. Now we're in business. So, whenever you do this, just make sure that your X says X, not X plus, because that's where I messed up. Okay, so we're going to type those correct numbers in right here and press Return, and now it's where it needs to be down here. Okay. In the Wrap Options section, so we're going to go to Text Wrap, and we're going to click Wrap to test this Wrap To area, and we're going to click the right side, so we're going to say right side. Here we go. And we're going to click off the graphic, so you see now our text is wrapping around this graphic the way it is right here. Okay. Alright, so we're going to make sure we have our selection tool, which we do. I don't have anything selected right now. And I'm going to click the graphic that we've been working with. I'm going to drag the left middle hand of the bounding box to the right so that it's right up to the left of the page. So the left middle one, I'm going to go right in there. Okay. And then I'm going to drag the bottom middle handle to the bounding box so that it goes right up to the bottom of the page. So right there. Okay. And then I'm going to click on the pasteboard and I'm going to go to Shift W. And that's just going to bring me my print view of it. I'll press Escape. And that's it. So File, Save. And this should be your screenshot. So when you do your screenshot, just make sure you get this whole section right here in there for me, okay?